Hello and welcome back to Overbooked. I'm Amanda and today we're going to be doing my December wrap-up. For the majority of the books that I read in December, I have book reviews for all of them. So because I was in the heart of Bookmas and I needed prompts for videos, so you guys got a lot of book reviews last month, but I will link those all below. But let's just get started with the first one, and that was Over the Top by Jonathan Van Ness. And this is obviously Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye. He's the hairstylist and also I think just awesome human being on there. They're all awesome, but I love Jonathan. So this is his memoir that he just came out with, and I thought that it was really raw, very emotional, and just a really great memoir to put out about his life, his struggles, and how he grew up, gay and struggling with his identity in rural Indiana, I believe it was, and just the Midwest in general. So a lot of the things, obviously I didn't grow up gay in the Midwest, but I grew up in the Midwest, and I can definitely see how a lot of the situations that he went through happened, and I could relate to some of the things that he was going through, just a small town situation where it's just boring and there's not a lot to do. I just thought it was a really great way to open up into his life and see a different side of him, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of people thought that it wasn't written very well, and I kind of mentioned this in my review, but when I read these memoirs of these actors or stars, I'm not really expecting literary works of genius. I am just want to know more about their life and where they came from, so I'm not looking for something that's just blows my mind away with how they wrote it. I think he wrote it very well, as in he wrote it in his own voice, and I really appreciated that. So I really liked it, but if you want more insight on it, definitely check out my video. Okay, so the next book was The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. I read this for the girly book club that I'm in and that I participate in. And I really enjoyed this book, and I was very surprised I did. I didn't really think I was going to read it, or I knew I was going to read it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. When I saw the cover, I thought it looked really cheesy and yada yada yada. It was a little cheesy, but I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it. I felt really comforted when I read it. It was you had a blanket wrapped around you. It was just a cute story, and I thought it dealt with some interesting issues that were just thrown in there that I kind of appreciated. It talked about how the main character deals with anxiety, and I think that that's definitely a situation that happens with a lot of us, and that we deal with that on a daily basis. The book is just centered around Nina Hill, and she really likes to be, to herself. She doesn't like to have a lot of people in her life, and she likes to stick to a schedule, but then she finds out that she has this huge family, that she didn't know about from her dad, who she never met, and then she meets this boy, and this whole journey she's on. I thought it was really nice. I liked it. It was a nice, comforting book. I also have a book review on that. Check that out. All right, third book was The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. This book centers around probably five women who are librarians in the 1930s for the WPA program. So they're are traveling librarians in rural Kentucky. So since everyone is so spread out, they have routes where they go around on horseback and deliver books, pick up books, and suggest books for people. And it just kind of goes through each of these women's lives, the program, and then some of the drama that happens. Not everybody in the town is super enthusiastic about this program, or about books in general, or about women doing this work. And we also focus on two of the ladies. One of them is a new bride to one of the residents in town, and she's originally from England, so just her adjusting to everything and her new family and what's going on. And then the other one is a resident of Kentucky, and she's the black sheep of the town, and kind of her life and background. I really liked this book. I thought it was really interesting and great. I thought it kind of dragged at the end. There were some parts where I just didn't think it was needed, but there was added fluff. But I enjoyed it, and it makes me want to do more research on this actual program, because it was actually a thing that happened. And there's actually another book that has the same concept, and it's called The Creek of Troublesome women or something. I never know. I can't remember the title. But so this year I would like to eventually try to read that book and see if, the similarities and differences between the two. Also have a book review on that, so feel free to check it out. So then we have The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. So this is a mystery thriller. I read this for the book club I am in with my family. I enjoyed this book and I recommended it in my book review, but then I was thinking about it when I was replying to somebody's comment, and I was like, I don't know if I really would recommend this as much as I said in my original book review. So let's start with this. Like, the book centers around this woman who is stuck in her home. She can't physically leave her home, otherwise she like goes crazy, gives her high anxiety. I don't never remember the word that what it's called, but she has to be inside her home. And so she watches her neighbors, and then one day she sees something terrible happen and no one believes her. And so the whole book is her trying to figure out what she saw. There's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, there's a lot of things happening in this book. And I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't recommend it. I think if you like thrillers and stuff, you should pick it up. But I don't know if I would actually read it if somebody didn't point it out to me, or if we weren't reading it for our book club. I don't know if I ever would have taken the time to pick it up. I've definitely read better thrillers. I thought that there was just like a lot of things happening at the end. Like, I felt it was like, wow, this huge explosion. Like, there was like 3 twists that happened in like 5 pages. So just a lot. I think it was good. I feel like I'm like going back and forth here, but I thought it was good. If you like thrillers, mysteries, read it. If you're like, I think I have something better, don't read it. Have a book review on that. I don't know how accurate it is, my actual feelings of the book. Fun fact, I recorded that video right before our flight. So that's probably why it feels very rushed, because I felt really rushed. I was like, should I post this video? And I was like, whatever, it's Bookmas, let's do whatever we want. Okay, so the last book that I read, and I read this on vacation, was Bertha Boned by Jacqueline Woodson. I didn't think I was actually gonna get this book in time for my vacation, but I requested it at the library and the hold came up like 2 days before we left. So I was very happy, and it's a very short book, so I got it done fairly quickly. And this book was beautiful. I think that's probably the only word I want to use for it. It was a really great book. It has a lot of things happening, but she does it so well in such a short amount of space and tells her story greatly. I just loved it. So it's about 3 generations of a family, and the mother gets pregnant at 16, and then her life, and then also her daughter's life, and then her father's life, and then the grandparents' life. You get to see all different aspects of this family, and then also how the Tulsa massacre in Oklahoma affected them, and their past family struggle with that as well is tied in, which I really enjoyed. So the Tulsa massacre was this killing of all these African Americans, and this family had family members in that, and that spurs on a lot of actions by the grandmother, and she does certain things a certain way because of that, and that kind of trickles down through the family and interweaves, and I thought that was kind of neat how she did that. And I just thought it was a really great book. The Reading Women podcast chose this, I think, as one of their awards books, one of the best books of 2019, so I was like, yeah, this must be a really great book. And the Stacks podcast just came out with a podcast about it, like I think last month. So I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it. It's a really short fiction book and multi-generational story, and it was just really great. It had a lot of insight. I thought the most interesting story was of the mother. I loved her perspective, how, getting pregnant at 16, she chose to keep this child, but then never really felt a connection to her daughter, and didn't want her daughter to hold her back either. Like, she wanted to continue to go to college. She wanted to follow her dreams, and she didn't want this to stop everything. I thought it was just really interesting because I think when we see women having children, we kind of expect them to give up everything and have this super deep connection with their child. And I'm not saying that that doesn't ever happen, and I'm not saying that should happen, and I'm not a mother, so I have no idea. I'm speaking out of context here, but I do think that there is a lot of women who sometimes just don't feel that immediate connection, or go through postpartum depression, or still want their own life. And I think this was just a good example of seeing that kind of woman. Did I agree with all the choices she made as a mother? I don't really, no, I didn't, but I also was rooting for her as just a fellow woman. You know, like I was like, yes, I want you to go to school, I want you to get this degree, and I want you to have all these experiences. So it was like just an interesting, conflicting story to see, and I really, really enjoyed that part of it. I've also been reading Little Women, so I've gotten halfway through that. So I guess you could throw that in my wrap up, but probably not because I didn't finish it, so still working on it. That was it. That was all the books I read for December. December was a very busy month. If you haven't already, check out all my Bookmas videos. There's 25 of them. Right now I'm in the thick of doing the VSCO Girl Readathon, so I'm very excited. I just picked up some books from the library to continue that, and I'm hoping to read like 5 to 7 books in January, so really excited. Hopefully I'll get that. And I think that's kind of it for today. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.